Welcome! In this video, we're going to cover Mark H. Walker's Law Resistance from Flying Pig Games. We're going to talk about what is Law Resistance about, what do you get in the box, and how to play. We're also going to cover some extras that you can purchase online that are some really fun features that add to this game. Law Resistance is a really fun beer and pretzels game loaded with strategy and based in World War II history. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Is a really fun dice and card game set during World War II based on the French resistance of the German-occupied France. During the occupation, brave French men and women fought back against the Nazi conquerors, disrupting communications, destroying supply chains, and ambushing German patrols. In Law Resistance, you get the chance to be one of these French resistance leaders, trying to survive and also fighting to become the most famous French resistance leader. Law Resistance abstractly recreates the French resistance during Nazi-occupied France in World War II. This game is intended to be a fun competitive game and not so much of a simulation game. Law Resistance is a great change of pace from your typical two-player war game. It brings the historical accuracy and immersion of those war games to a 3 to 5 person game that plays in less than an hour. Now let's get into what's in the box. Each box includes 7 resistance leader cards to track glory points and also recruits, 35 mission cards such as the Tiger Tank, foreign aid or communication hubs that provides enemies to be neutralized, reinforcements for your troops, or a facility to be sabotaged, 9 C'est la guerre cards such as faulty intel, steal an opponent's die, or charismatic, which means you can steal a rival's resistance fighter to upgrade your leader and to sabotage rival leaders. 9 event cards, such as heavy casualties, that alter the basic rules for the turn. Fit game chits to track glory points and recruits, casualties, and other special needs. And a colorful, easy-to-read rules booklet. In addition, in the Flying Pig Games store, we have the Gestapo event deck. The Gestapo event deck adds 9 new cards with unique events that makes the game more challenging for experienced players of Law Resistance. We also have, excuse my French, the Mes Amis C'est la guerre card deck. C'est la guerre cards are cards that you can purchase in-game with a totaled sum of 6 dice. These cards can give you an advantage, and they can also help you mess with your opponents, which really gives you that fun, chaotic, take that kind of element to the game. Also in the Flying Pig Games store, we have a 2mm thick neoprene playmat for the game. It's the mat that we used in many of the game's beauty shots, actually. It's not necessary to play the game, but it does help the table look a bit more organized, and it just adds more to the immersive quality of the game. Lastly, in the Flying Pig Games store, you can get a special set of 10 stamped dice. The white dice replace the one with the German Maltese cross, and the blue dice replace the one with the La Croix de Lorraine. Again, excuse my French, I took Spanish in school. So, how do you play Law Resistance? You win Law Resistance by amassing 12 glory points, or by being the last player who has a resistance band that hasn't broken. A broken resistance band is when all of your recruits are gone. They could have been lost because you lost some mission cards, or they could have been stolen by other players. After setup, the first player, who is determined randomly, will flip over the top card of the event deck, laying it beside the event deck. This card is going to affect only this turn, and a new event card will be flipped over on the next turn of the first player. Next, players will take 6 six-sided dice and roll them. These are the essentially currency that you will use during each turn to defeat mission cards. You can also steal a recruit from a player by spending a total sum of 6 die. You can steal a glory point from another player by also spending a sum of 6 die. Or you can also buy a C'est la guerre card by spending a sum of 6 die. Players can obviously defeat more than 1 mission card per turn. They might actually need to do all 3 to save themselves from losing recruits or losing too many glory points. But they can only do one of those special actions once per turn. For example, they can only purchase 1 C'est la guerre card per turn. They can only steal 1 recruit from another player per turn, and they can only steal 1 glory point from another player per turn. But they can do all 3 of those special actions each turn. For For example, a player could defeat a mission card, they could buy a Say La Guerre card, they could steal a glory point, and they could steal a recruit, if they had the right amount of dice to do something like that. If a player rolls a 6, they get an exploding die, which means they get to take one of the blue die, roll that, and then add that to the 6 die that they've already rolled. If they were to roll another 6, they would continue getting exploding die until they run out of those 4 blue die that come in the box. In addition, if a player were to roll a mulligan, or just a roll that they didn't like, they could take away one of their 4 white die and re-roll those 5 die. They will be playing a die down that turn, but they might get a better roll in that case. A player can also duck and run, so that whenever you are required to lose a recruit, you can lose 2 glory points instead. In conclusion, La Résistance strikes a perfect balance between incorporating engaging strategy and historical themes with a fast-paced, super quick-to-learn game for 3 to 5 players. Thanks again for watching. If you have time, you can help us out by liking and subscribing. Thanks.